Hey guys, today we're looking back at some of your favourite relationship drama stories from last year. When your wife begs you to open up your relationship, you'd assume it'd be open for both of you, right? Well, no. OP's wife had no problem sleeping around, but apparently when OP does it, suddenly it's cheating. Am I the a-hole for having sex with another person after my wife wanted to open up our marriage? Posted by Soggy Ride 1913. Hey guys, so my wife, 30 female, and I, 33 male, have been married for about 8 years now. We've had a fair few ups and downs during our marriage. 5 years ago, I found out that my wife cheated on me with a man she met on Tinder. After she was caught, she admitted that they'd hooked up 3 times. At first, I was shocked and wanted a divorce because cheating is a no-go for me. However, she told me how sorry she was and that she only loves me, and that she was really trying her best to show me that I can trust her again. And I did. Now, let me introduce you to my wife's best friend, Chris, 31 male. They've known each other for 15 years, and whenever we have issues, she always runs to him to talk. Chris is single. He's had a few relationships, but they've never lasted that long. I know he has feelings for my wife. He's always telling me that he wants a girlfriend that's just like my wife, and keeps telling her that I don't deserve her. I never really thought about it because, in my head, Chris is kind of a bootlicker, and I never thought that he'd have any chance with my wife. Fast forward 6 months ago, we again had our ups and downs, and my wife shocked me with the suggestion of opening up our marriage. I was shocked and immediately told her that I don't want that. At this point, we hadn't had sex for like 8 months or so. She was never in the mood. And after trying many times to have sex with her, I just kind of stopped because I didn't want to push her. I love sex, and being sexless for 8 months made me really unhappy. So the more I thought about her suggestion, the more I wanted to try it out. So I agreed. She was baffled at first, but in the end, we both agreed and made up some rules. 1. No feelings, either from us or from the person we have sex with. 2. No sex in our apartment. 3. We tell each other when we have sex with someone else. 4. We always use protection. I have a coworker, 28 female, let's call her Sarah. She's a very flirtatious girl, and I always thought she was kinda into me. One night, after our shift ended, we walked to the bus stop together, and I told her about the open marriage thing. She was immediately all ears and very interested. She joked that if I wanted to shoot my shot, I can always ask her. So I did. I told her about the rules and the feelings thing. She made it very clear that she finds me sexually attractive, but that's it. There are no feelings. The next day, I talked to my wife about the coworker, and she told me I can go for it. So a few days later, I went to Sarah's place and we had sex. It felt good, but it wasn't the same feeling as having sex with my wife. The next few days, my wife went really quiet and we didn't talk at all. I knew something was wrong, so I confronted her. I thought maybe it was because of me having sex with Sarah. Oh boy, was I wrong. She told me that she'd slept with Chris. After hearing this, I screamed at her and we got into a huge fight. Not only did she break the rule about telling me when she'd had sex with someone else, but she also broke the first rule about the feelings. Her excuse was that we never made it clear when we should tell each other that we'd had sex with someone else, before it happened or afterwards. But what really tipped me off was that she was trying to convince me that Chris had no feelings for her. In her eyes, I was overreacting way too much. I haven't talked to her for like 2 days now, and I'm staying at a friend's house at the moment. In my head, I keep thinking that Chris is somehow manipulating her so that she separates from me. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. Seems like I'm the bootlicker myself. Oh, the irony. Update. Thanks for all the harsh comments, calling me an idiot, a doormat, etc. It really made me realize what an effing loser I am. My best friend and I came to the conclusion that she's only with me for financial security. I have a solid education, a well-paying job, and my parents are wealthy. My wife hasn't worked for 3 years. I was also planning on buying a house this year. And yes, I agree. I think my wife did have sex with Chris, and probably other men, before the incident. I'm still at my friend's place. In my mind, this marriage is over, and I'm filing for divorce. I tried to tell her that yesterday over the phone, but she didn't answer my calls for 3 hours. So I sent her a text before going to bed, telling her that it's probably for the best that we separate and that I want to file for divorce. I woke up to an excess of messages. She was angry at me at first, but then shifted to apologizing and wanting to work things out. We agreed to see each other today. Update 2. I just had lunch with my wife and it was blatantly obvious that she was just trying to manipulate me again. She confessed to everything. Her and Chris have been having sex for over a year now. She started crying and saying how it's all her fault and how she wants to get back with me. However, I've had enough of this. I told her that I'm going to file for divorce and left her crying at the restaurant. Meanwhile, I've made arrangements with our family lawyer. I'm staying at my dad's place for a couple of days, so things can cool off for a bit. He's very supportive and is actively helping me with the divorce. Down in the comments, Deleted says, when she asked for an open marriage after an 8-month sex drought, yeah, nothing suspicious there at all. What the F? Why would she say it's all her fault? Like, duh. She effed another guy for a year before they agreed to open the marriage. Was she expecting him to be like, no, oh, poor you. It's not your fault. Did she seriously expect that to work? My girlfriend, 28 female, wants to break up because I, 30 male, bought the wrong chocolate. Posted by a throwaway account. I know this sounds crazy, but hear me out. My girlfriend and I have been together for almost 3 years now. Everything is going great and she's the love of my life. But today, something weird happened. I told her I was going to the grocery store to buy some stuff for the next few days. I asked her to send me a list on Messenger. We always do this so I don't forget anything important. I asked her multiple times if she needed anything to make sure we had everything at home and didn't have to go grocery shopping again tomorrow. She said she wanted chocolates. Fine. What flavor should I bring? Any flavor is fine, you know what I don't like, so just don't bring that. She sounded annoyed, which confused me, but I thought she was just in a bad mood. I went to the store, got all the stuff on the list, picked up some chocolates, and then headed home. When I got home, she asked where the chocolates were, and when I gave them to her, she exploded at me. I don't like caramel! How could you get such a simple thing wrong? Why did you ask if you didn't even care about the answer? You're driving me crazy! I don't want to be with you anymore! I was flabbergasted. I tried to calm her down and have a conversation, but she stormed out and slammed the door. I want to give her space, but wow, what just happened? I've gotten her chocolate with caramel before, and I don't remember her saying she doesn't like them. Can someone please explain what I did wrong? How should I approach her about this? Should I just let her be upset, or should I go talk to her? Edit. I asked her to write the list because she spends more time at home than I do, so I assume she knows better what we need for the house. Some days I work 12-hour shifts and can't remember everything we need. I don't remember her explicitly saying that she hates caramel, but I'll keep it in mind for next time. No, I didn't buy her a chocolate she hates on purpose. I'm not a passive-aggressive person. I do chores around the house, but because she's working from home most days, she does more of the chores as well. I have to travel to work every day, so we made an agreement about the chores, and she was okay with it. Yeah, sometimes I forget things, but it's nothing malicious. I don't think that makes me a horrible boyfriend. I also always ask her if she wants me to get her anything, what she'd like to eat, if she needs anything at all. I care about her a lot. Yes, she's on her period right now. Edit 2. She doesn't do all the housework alone. I do 40% of the chores and she does 60%. I work 10-hour shifts, 6 days a week, while she works 5-hour shifts, 4 days a week. We agreed to split the chores this way and it works for us. I don't remember her saying she hates caramel. She eats Snickers bars with caramel in it, so I thought she'd be okay with it. I know her favourite flowers, perfume, Macca's order, and how to make her favourite smoothies, etc. But running a business can be stressful, and I can't remember everything, so I do forget small things sometimes. She also prefers to do things her own way, so I ask her multiple times about certain things to make sure she's happy. I feel like a lot of people replying to this post are projecting past bad experiences or annoyances onto our relationship. I mean, of course you can't fit an entire relationship history into one Reddit post, and strangers won't know our dynamics, but I'm not sure where all this frustration and hostility is coming from. I might have come to the wrong place for advice. Thank you for the level-headed responses. I'll wait for her to calm down and come to me. Hopefully, we can talk everything through. Based on what's in the post, I don't think he's actually in the wrong. Like, yeah, it sucks if you're really craving something and he got the wrong thing, but it sounds like this isn't a constant thing with him. He knows her favourite Macca's order, her favourite flowers and smoothies, etc. It sounds like they split their contribution fairly too. I don't really get all the you're the air-hole responses. Let me know if you disagree, or if I'm missing something. Update. I waited for my girlfriend to calm down and come to me. After a few hours, she did. She was crying and really apologetic. We talked about what happened. She said her PMS made her really upset and her hormones were acting up more than usual this month, making her more irritable. I told her I understood, but need some space to think, so I slept in the guest room. I understand that she can't control her PMS symptoms, but I didn't grow up in a house where slamming doors and screaming at each other was a normal thing to do when someone is frustrated. Also, her saying she wanted to break up shouldn't be a heat of the moment thing. Even though most of the comments were attacking me and making all kinds of assumptions, they also made me think about the dynamics of my relationship and the burden I take on myself. I feel like I'm doing way more in the relationship than my girlfriend. I'm carrying most of the weight on my own shoulders. I thought it was normal because I really love her and wanted her to be happy. But now that people have pointed out the whole mental load thing and how responsibilities should be shared, I'm starting to think that I might have taken on too much. In a way, this might be the reason why she thinks she can treat me the way she did yesterday. Someone told me in the DMs that there's a fine line between being kind and being a pushover, and I sure as hell don't want to be taken advantage of because of my kindness. I'll talk to her today and see if we can figure out a way to share the responsibilities more evenly at home and in our relationship. I'll also have to lay down more boundaries, which will be hard, but I have to do it. Found nude pictures of myself on my brother's laptop, posted by Eggs for Cakes. I think I caught my younger brother spying on me while I was changing last night, but it might be all in my head. Everything feels super awkward now. My brother, 18 male, and I, 19 female, are staying at our grandparents' house this week. A few nights ago, I noticed the light from the gap under my door go darker and brighter a few times. Initially, I thought my brother might have just been walking up and down the hallway. Last night, when I went to my room to change and go to bed, I noticed it again, so I went to unlock my door and look down the hallway, and I saw my brother's door slam shut just as I opened my door. I thought it was really weird, so I decided to bend over and look through the gap under my door when I realized I could see right into my room. This may all be just in my head, but everything feels super awkward around him today, and we still have 3 more days here before we go home. How do I not make this weird? Relevant comments. He's waiting for you to go to bed so he can smoke or drink or something, I guarantee it. You wouldn't be able to get any upward angle from under the door gap, so he'd only be able to see your feet. Opie replied and said, I checked for myself, and he would definitely be able to see me. It's a wide enough gap. Thankfully, the other commenters put my paranoia to rest. Update, 11 months later. So, tired of being gaslit by my younger brother, I'm pretending that I don't know he's stealing my underwear now. I'm still currently living at home with my parents and my younger brother. I've been dealing with multiple instances of him perving on me and getting away with it by gaslighting me and my parents about it. The first incident that I can specifically remember was a while ago at my grandparents' house. He kept trying to dare me to climb an old tree house, which I finally did, only to realize he could see up my skirt as I was climbing. I yelled at him to stop looking, and he acted like I was being gross for thinking that he was. The whole situation was super weird, so I just brushed it off and never said anything about it again. A few months later, I caught him going through my photos on my laptop. Of course, this caused a huge fight and my parents got involved. He told them he was trying to delete an ugly picture I took of him, and somehow my parents see it as we're both in the wrong. I don't have anything scandalous on there, but it just feels so off for him to be going through my pictures. Fast forward to us moving into our new house this summer, and now we share a bathroom. He never knocks when he knows I'm using the bathroom. Instead, he just tries to see if the door is locked. Eventually, I forgot to lock the door, and he barged in. Luckily, I was half decent. I told my parents about this, and instead of the solution being that he should knock, The solution is that I should use the guest bathroom downstairs. The most recent incident happened a couple of nights ago after a family barbecue. I came back to my room and noticed the sweatpants I'd changed out of before everyone arrived were out of the laundry hamper and on the floor. When I got up to do laundry the next morning, I realized the panties I was wearing with those sweatpants were gone. I thought about confronting him over it, but honestly, the thought of him gaslighting me again was so exhausting. I just didn't say anything. Now another pair are missing, and I'm still acting like I've got no idea. Down in the comments, someone said, you should probably go into your room and check for cameras while you're at it. Also, move out. Opie replied and said, yeah, of course, in an ideal world, I'd be out of the house by now. But in reality, that's a lot easier said than done. It's not something that I can realistically afford right now. And in any case, I don't see why I should be the one to move, as if it's my fault I'm being perved on. Update 2, 4 days later. Thank you all for the support and stories you shared. It really helped me realize how much I need to get out of this toxic situation at home. After everyone's advice to look for hidden cameras in my room, I tried everything recommended, but I didn't find anything. I couldn't get the thought out of my head though, so I decided to go through my brother's laptop when he wasn't home. It honestly broke me. He had dozens of pictures he'd taken of me without me knowing. Pictures of my underwear with cum in them. And a lot of other effed up stuff off the internet. I immediately sent pictures of everything to my parents, packed a bag, and told a friend I needed a place to stay for a few days, and left. My parents have been trying to call me non-stop and have texted me to come home and talk about it, but I've made it clear I don't plan on coming home, unless he's out of the house for good. I don't know what I'm gonna do if they don't kick him out, but for now, I'm just trying to get the thought of everything I saw out of my head and take care of my own mental health. Update 3, 22 days later. About a month ago, I found several pictures of myself on my brother's laptop, including pictures of my underwear that he'd stolen and masturbated into, and a nude picture of me in the bathroom. I took a picture of the thumbnails, deleted the originals, and have been living at my friend's house ever since. I don't plan on returning home unless he's kicked out of the house for good by my parents, which doesn't seem like they're willing to do. I'm still processing everything emotionally, and I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm seriously conflicted. As his sister, I want him to get help, but at the same time, I just can't have him near me right now. I also need to know for sure that there are no other pictures of me floating around, and that they'll never posted or shared. I don't have a lot of support for myself right now, and I don't want to put myself or my family through any unnecessary difficulty because of this, but I do want to know what legal options I have. Down in the comments, someone suggested, get an unlawful surveillance / revenge porn report from the police, citing the evidence you have. This will somewhat protect you and allow you to pressure him into destroying the undocumented photos. If he doesn't comply, you can amend your report, requesting an arrest. Good luck. Final update, brother's confession and apology. In the last couple of weeks, a lot of people have reached out, wanting to know what happened, so I thought I'd share a final update, even if it's not the closure everyone was hoping for. After months of me staying at various friends' houses and threats of the authorities getting involved, my brother finally confessed everything to my parents. He admitted to hiding a camera in our bathroom and stealing my clothing, but promises he never shared any pictures of me and has since deleted them all. He claims to have been addicted to adult content for years, which eventually led him to attempt to live out the things he'd watched online. My parents have sent him to therapy and are trying to fix him however they can. Meanwhile, I don't think I'll ever be moving back home, and I've been saving up, without my parents' help, to get my own place soon. I still feel sad and violated whenever I think about everything that's happened, but I've decided to move on with my life without any of them in it. Luckily, my friends, aka my chosen family, have been here to support me through this whole sick drama, and I'll forever be grateful to them all. Finally, to anyone else who's dealing with a similar situation at home or anywhere else, The truth will eventually come out. Stay strong. My 23 female, boyfriend 32 male told me that I look like a sock. Posted by a throwaway account. We've been together for 1 month, so it's very new. He's respectful, affectionate, super funny, kind, and for the first time in my life, I thought I'd found the one. I have to admit that my self-confidence is not always 100%, and sometimes he's clumsy with his words. Last time we went to the bakery, he told me a girl like her wouldn't be interested in a guy like me. He was talking about the cashier. I thought that was a weird thing to say, but I didn't say anything in that moment. This weekend, we were scrolling through a lingerie website because he wanted to buy me a lingerie set, and he kept saying, "Whoa, they're so hot!" and "Oh my god, sex bomb!" I felt super uncomfortable. Like, yeah, they're beautiful, and they're models, but can you please not say it out loud every single time? Yesterday, I decided I was going to talk to him and ask him to stop saying out loud what he thought about all the women he meets because it makes me feel bad about myself. I asked him, what does a girl like her wouldn't be interested in a guy like you mean? And he said, well, pretty girls wouldn't be into me. And I said, so you don't think I'm pretty then because I'm into you? And that's when he said it. Compared to other girls, well, you look like a sock. I cried so much and my heart broke. I couldn't believe he said something like that. I sent him a text saying I wasn't sure I'd be able to continue the relationship with him because of what he said. He cried and told me he was sorry 1,000,000 times, and I told him that I needed space and I'll let him know in a couple of days. I know there are so many women that are so much prettier than me, and I know he's allowed to think that other women are beautiful as well, but I feel so sad because I'm in love with him and his words really crushed me. I'm not sure I'll ever be able to forgive him or forget what he said. Today, my self-confidence is at 0%. I keep reminding myself that I'm ugly whenever I see a woman walk past me, or that I'm just not good enough for him. Is there any hope our relationship can survive this? I don't want to break things up over a silly misunderstanding, or just because he's a guy and he didn't mean what he said. It's very hard for me to know what my next step should be. Thank you. Fried lipstick. OP said, he's respectful. Well, he is not. A wind-up bird says, clearly there's a reason he's going after a woman 9 years his junior. OP, I wouldn't take anything he says to heart. I think he's negging you because he's an insecure a-hole who wants you to feel so lucky that he's giving you the time of day. He wants to make you feel bad about yourself so you don't think you can do any better and will put up with any future BS. People are on their best behavior in the first few months of a relationship. This is his best. Do you really want to be there to see him at his worst? You deserve better. Honestly, just block him. Or even better, message him and say, I've been thinking a lot about what you said, how those girls are just too pretty to be with you. And I realized I'm too pretty for you too. Bye! Am I wrong for telling my fiancé that if he expects me to contribute 50-50, we're gonna have to make some serious lifestyle changes? Posted by Throwra Downsizing. Me and my fiancé are both 26. My fiancé sat me down yesterday and gave me a long talk about how he doesn't feel I contribute enough to the household, particularly in the financial sense. I was a bit caught off by this, but willing to hear him out, since he's not wrong. He makes a lot more than I do, and we've always split bills accordingly, which ends up being about 80% him. I asked what he wanted me to pay now, and he was adamant about it being 50-50. So I asked if everything was okay with his job, or if he needed to take fewer hours, and he wouldn't answer me. Honestly, I wouldn't have gotten upset if there seemed like an actual reason behind it, but he just said he's been thinking about it a lot, over and over. Every time I asked what brought him to this conclusion, what's going on, and eventually he just said, this is how it's gonna be, take it or leave it. Those exact words, in response to literally everything I said. Full shutdown, no explanations. I told him that was fine, I'll take it. And then I asked if he'd made a Zillow account yet, or expected me to. He looked confused and asked why would we need a Zillow account? I explained that there's no way I can afford half rent on our current place, so we'll probably have to move into a one-bedroom apartment. He got mad and asked why I didn't have savings. I told him that I do, but I'm not paying rent out of my savings. That's a terrible and unsustainable idea. I also began to go over what our new food budget would be, our new entertainment budget, and that we'd probably have to sell the cars and get one less expensive one, because I can't afford half the payments on an Audi and a Land Rover. Then I explained that date nights would probably have to be reduced too, and we could still do like Buffalo Wild Wings or something, but I preferred Thursday nights because you get 2 orders of boneless wings for 1. Basically, if he wants me to pay half, we're going to be living within my means, not his anymore. He kind of agreed with it, but since then, he's been incredibly angry. He's not saying or doing anything, but it's like he's walking around the house in this cloud of pissed off. I sent him 6 Zillow listings, all of which he called uninhabitable for various reasons. Some which I think were valid, others I disagree with. He's now saying that I'm being unfair and manipulative, and that he tries to come to me with a serious concern about our relationship, and I'm making it impossible for him to talk to me and bulldozing over him. Am I wrong about this? Down in the comments, someone says, "Can I ask what your salary is and what his salary is?" Like, general numbers. A charitable take on his actions could be that he resents not having more money and is trying to inspire you to try and up your salary or change into a more lucrative career so you can both be living the high life. He might be imagining how great it would be to have 200% of his income instead of 120. If that's the case, he's still going about it in a shitty way. Personally, I agree with many other commenters. Someone has insinuated that you're a gold digger, and he was expecting you to break up with him, not problem solve. Opie responds and says, "I make around 35k a year. He makes around 120k a year. It's not like there's some magical be rich suddenly button I can press. I'm a preschool teacher, and I don't have a college degree, and I certainly can't afford a college degree at this point without asking for help or taking out insane loans." Another commenter says, "Not the asshole. To me, it sounds like something's happened with his job, and he's not able to tell you yet for whatever reasons. I will try and have another calm chat with him about it, also showing him how much you're able to afford long term. Don't move forward with your plans of getting married until you both agree on your finances." Opie responded and said, "I asked about the job, and he wouldn't give me a straight answer. The frustrating part is, I honestly don't mind downsizing. And if I found out tomorrow that he lost his job, I'd literally be fine selling what we have and living in a trailer together off just my income. But this feels like some weird power play instead." Someone else says, "If you can barely afford your basic living expenses, then why the hell are you driving around in an Audi or a Range Rover? This is a classic example of lifestyle creep. If you barely make enough to contribute to rent, driving a luxury car is shameful. You're not the asshole, you're just a spoiled and unrealistic person." It's funny how this guy automatically assumes it's OP who has the spending problem. Like, bitch please, as soon as he brought up the money issue, she was like, "Yep, I'm on board," and comes up with all these amazing cost-saving measures. Well, he gets mad. Opie responded and said, "He gave me the Audi as a birthday present. It's not something I was aware of until it was in the driveway with a big pink bow on it and confetti. Literally like a car commercial. He's always had a bit of a flair for the dramatic." Update. So, last time I posted was Monday. Monday as a whole was just spent sort of going through what I felt and what to do next. There was a lot of silence, a lot of anger, and a lot of Reddit advice. Some which I found insightful, some which was less so. Also, some people think I made this up as part of a viral marketing sponsorship between Buffalo Wild Wings, Audi and Zillow, which honestly would solve my money problems if true, but alas, that's not the case. On Tuesday, after I got home from work, I just sort of walked up to him and explained as calmly as I could that I had questions, and if he actually wanted to marry me, he needed to be willing to answer them. I asked if he thought I was a gold digger, yes or no. He said yes. I told him I wasn't willing to be in a relationship where I have to prove myself by sacrificing any sort of stability. That led to a bit of a screaming match, and eventually, a confession. So it turns out we can't afford anything we have right now. We're in serious credit card debt, and the cars are both on the verge of being repossessed. I didn't know about any of this. He's been cutting corners on actual necessities, including psychiatric medication. That, in combination with some comments from his family, led him to some pretty dark places. My fiancé had a full breakdown and apologized for calling me a gold digger, which was nice to hear, but this whole thing has me pretty shaken up. I went to stay with a friend for a little bit. Yesterday, my fiancé and I did in fact go out to Buffalo Wild Wings and get the 2-for-1 boneless. We talked a lot. I'm still riding fiancé for now, and I really hope we can work our way through all this. We talked about how to sell the cars, we don't particularly have a choice at this point, and about my income and his income, and the sort of life we want to have. If we do stay together, we'll be changing how we live a lot. We need to get out of debt. We need to get on our feet. I know some people are going to say I'm being dumb for not immediately dropping all contact and giving up on the relationship, but I just can't do that. I can't look at the guy I love, who went off his meds to try and make a good life for me, and think he's not worth sticking around for, or at least to try. I don't know what the future looks like anymore though, and the wedding is very postponed at the moment. Sorry this wasn't more of a fun update. Down in the comments, someone says, OP, has he come clean to you about what got you guys so deep in the hole? For it to get to the brink it did lifts more red flags in the air. He could be coping with an addiction problem, or something else that could destroy your life. You have got to figure this out as soon as possible. Please don't make any wedding plans. This is not the man you want to marry. OP responds and says he has. It's not gambling or drugs, like a lot of people are saying. It's an addiction to nice things. He's got a lot of financial hang-ups and comes from a family that replaced love with money. So he got it into his head that the only way to show love was to provide a very fancy sort of lifestyle, which was way over budget for us. It's going to be a hard pill to swallow, cutting back on everything, but it's what has to happen. I didn't write everything out in this post, but we did go over how the debt got this bad, and I'm currently aware of pretty much everything. There are some accounts I still need to look at this weekend, but for the most part, it's all above board at this point. We're definitely looking at the relationship, and I'm going to be taking a much more active role in life planning if we do continue. The wedding's on pause for an unknown amount of time. I'm already looking into places I can afford, and we'll probably end up renting a trailer. And no, I'm not lying for him. I told him, point blank, that hiding this stuff is what got us into this mess, and he's not going to be able to keep it under wraps if he wants to stay with me. We need to be upfront about our financial situation, whether he's embarrassed or not. I think that with some hard work, we'll both end up in a better position. We need to get out of debt, and I'm taking the reins for a bit, since he's never lived frugally before, and if all goes well, we'll get through this. I don't plan to leave if he sticks to what we're talking about and actually takes steps forward. I love this man, and I'll fight for what we have. But if he won't fix things, if he won't listen, and if he continues to disrespect me, I'm gone. But I genuinely believe we will get through this, and I know he can do better, and I believe he wants to. Now, he has to prove it. Well, the tables certainly turned, didn't they? This guy may be toxic and making the relationship transactional, but at least he doesn't demand BJs before each kiss or cuddle his girlfriend once. That might sound insane, but that's exactly what OP's boyfriend does in the next video. Click here to see that, and thanks for watching.